described as very brave. Okay, so these are our details of events. So the book describes the life-threatening ordeals endured by the authors and 10,000 other children escaping Africa's civil war in the late 1980s, including the near starvation, illness, and massacres. So at the beginning, Benson says this: our elders told us that Islam kept spreading southward until it met the largest tribes, the Dinka and the Nuer, the tallest and the blackest people in Africa. They resisted his new religion because Islam was complicated, and as cattle keepers, we didn't have the time to be meditating with the Quran. So this basically describes how the Civil War broke out, because in their tribe, they had a lot of cattle, so they couldn't really pray 5 times a day. And another reason was because Islam wanted them to circumcise their women, and they loved their women too much to do that to them. So one night, this was after when Benson's village was attacked when he was with his sister. He disappeared, and his family looked for him for like 2 years. He was gone. So one night in Elifo's village, which is also Benson's village, his mother woke him up and told him, go with your brother and hide in the bush because their village is being attacked. So they go over the village and they stay there throughout the night, and Elifo's really scared. So when they come back in the morning, they're very relieved that their dad and mom is still alive. But he had a best friend named it was a girl. So he goes, he runs towards her house when his mom told him not to go. And when he goes to the house, there's no roof on it. And he enters the house, and it's just, blood everywhere. Their bodies are burned. And he's very surprised, and he's in shock. He can't believe that people would do this to them, like they've done nothing wrong. And a quote that he said was, my eyes were fixed on the sight of death in front of me. I smelled it, I tasted it, and I felt it. So it was very sad. Okay, and then the next day, Angon, his brother, he has 5 brothers, came running to his family and told them there was smoke and fire and Benson was missing. So this was 6 when that happened. Next slide.
Okay, so this is when Benson was with Sister Angon, and that's when he would be there because she had just had a kid, so he would help her, but like with his nephew and everything, and he was in charge of the cattle. He woke up to shots and fires when they got attacked, and he couldn't find anyone, so he panicked, and that's when he ran away during the night. And he remembered what his dad told him to get away from the village, hide where the gunfire can burn, and can't reach you, hide so that they'll scoop you onto a horse and take you as a slave to the north. And so he escaped and everything, he listened to his father. And then towards a couple, 5 years later, Benjamin finds Benson, but Benson was so sick he couldn't see him, he was at the edge of death. And then they were hiding in this refugee camp in Ethiopia, and it wasn't what they expected. The soldiers told that they were gonna be fed and they would go to school and it was gonna be so nice. But once they got there, they were treated so horribly. They made them, just at the age of 6, they made them create a street up a hill and up mountains, and if they tried to escape, they would hit them to almost kill them, and they would lock them up for a month in jail without being involved.
So it was very sad. Yeah, and then throughout their story, when they were heading towards Kakuma, the camp. Oh yeah, okay. They were going to the camp, and then they were going to the Gila River, and the river was very gory. And then this is our setting. Yeah, look at really fast.
I think we
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Can we finish tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we have 2 minutes.
So Thursday we didn't really get to finish. So this is the environment from the sky. So we were talking about how it's about the 3 boys, the 3 lost boys from Sudan. And at the end, they go through all these hardships and they finally get the lost boy. The program starts to come to America. So in 2001, they all get approved and they all come to America. Lino, which is Benson's and Oliver's cousin, and then they come to America first, and then in 2001, when 9/11 happened, Benjamin was on the plane, so they get to America, and that's basically it, and they go to San Diego. So now they do events where they talk about their journeys and stuff. So it was a happy ending, and that's basically it. They do the events.
The story took place in southern Sudan. At the beginning, along their journey, they go through several villages. They were born in Dinka. And they're forced to leave their home, and they have to travel to Ethiopia, Euro, Torres, Palataka, Utinga, Yakuma, Loki, Shokyo, and they have to stay in Kenya for several years until they finally go to America.
The thing that makes this book very special compared to the others, because it's different, it's written different. Other ones you have this main character, some protagonist, antagonist, some turd being a dick. This one is written by 3 boys. The narrators, the authors, are the same people as the characters. The imagery, no one is safe here. They want to pour fire on us from the sky. This is the mother talking to her children, telling her that these people coming from northern Sudan, I believe, want to kill them because they are against their religion. They don't like their religion. They want to change it. And it's also political stuff in the actual war. It's very complicated on why there is a war, but people just really hate each other, so they enjoy killing each other. The tone and the mood. In the story, it's kind of jumpy. It's like not too many different moods. It's very depressing, sad, and scary because people are trying to kill you. You're a little boy like yay high, 7 to 11, blah blah blah. People trying to kill you. Your family split up across a huge country. Yep, and you're starving. Your brothers are gone. You probably have an injured leg like one of our characters. But in the story, there are times when they're hell happy and they see each other again. That hope of being with each other. My body hurt from walking so long. Just when I almost wanted to lie down in my house and be with my parents, I saw far down the street my cousin Benson. Benjamin just saw his people, his town, get blown up, shot up. And he's walking for this long time away because that's what his parents told him. If something bad happens, just keep going away. And he was about on the verge of giving up because he's been walking for hours and hours, maybe a couple of days. And the only person he did not expect was his cousin, the older cousin. And that was like his little hope. The way it's written, because it's like boys looking back at their life, telling about their story. It's not one person going through life, it's them talking about it. And their stories do kind of overlap and intertwine. Motivation. I could no longer think much about my family except that I was alone and without them. The motivation for these boys is to see each other again. They're separated, everyone's dying, they want to be safe. They really love education and schooling. They try very hard, probably better than all of us here. They try hard, they want to be together again because they lost everything. Techniques. In the story, there are many meanings, I guess so to say. Moral, religious, political, and social. Why the boys in the story is the way it is. The people, moral and social, they are very unmoral people. It's war. They are free to do whatever they want. They have guns. They can kill you all they want. They can step on you, do other things. And they usually take care of one another because they don't want to be shot by the other person. But the boys, the whole culture that they grew up, the Dinkas, they grew up young. They had to be friends young. That's the norm. You had to be social, you had to be friendly. Those who were not social or friendly were looked down upon. It was not right. And they traveled around a lot because a lot of the cultures, a lot of the places, and the family was spread out like Mexicans. They're everywhere around the U.S. But you can go there, it's like, hey, family. And the war, political, religious, and social, the reasons why people are killing each other, why they hate each other. It's very complicated. There are many layers to it. And onomatopoeia, because the boys are not used to the stuff that they see, this technology, the guns, the helicopters, the bombs. This is completely different to them. We are used to it in a way. They are not. Onomatopoeia. Okay. Onomatopoeia in the story is stuff like tack, tack, tack. The boy describing the sounds of the gunshots, so he sings people being shot at, and helicopter, the boom, 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 or however it goes. And as the helicopter's flying overhead, some of them drop supplies, and ones drop bombs. Okay.
So we got 3 important themes for the story, and the first one is no matter what happens, family will always be there in the end. Because in the story, the boys are split up with like 80,000 boys going to refugee camps trying to get saved, and of course they're gonna get lost with all those people, and by some way they always find their way back to each other even after like 5 years or 2 years. And the second theme is always be grateful for what you have because others may have it far worse, and like don't take for granted for what you have because it's always more than someone else can have, because in this country there's a lot of poverty and diseases, and people die really easily because they don't have the medicine that we have or the food that we have, and they're just very unfortunate. And the third one, never give up no matter how hard the journey may be, because in the book, the 3 boys, Benson, Aleppo, and Benjamin, it was a really long journey, and they always wanted, well, not all of them, but like Aleppo and Benjamin wanted to give up a lot, and they just never did. There was times where they were really close to dying from dehydration, and Benjamin's leg really got in the way, but they never gave up, and they made it to America in the end.